Igno van Niekerk speaking, and I am going to share with you a presentation I've prepared for a conference called Light on Leadership. It's got 3 legs to stand on. I've written a book called Light on Leadership. This is for designers, not necessarily leaders, but obviously we all lead lives and we all need to lead things to go in specific directions. So, first question are you switched on? As a designer, as a presenter, you need to be switched on to what your audience needs. As an author, I had to be switched on to what characters wanted to do. And the essence of this is when a camera is switched on, it can focus, it can read the light, and it can continue. Once it's switched on, you look through the viewfinder and you start seeing things. Now, depending on where you look, it leads to how you feel, which leads to what you do, and that leads to what results you get. The essence is, do we know why we look at things in a certain way and why we look at specific things? So that's the settings. Many people often look at what they want to have. Others look at what they want to do. And then others look at what they want to be. So if you can have the car, you will save your money and you will become happy. But what if we change the sequence and say, I want to be happy, I'll still save the money and still get the car? So the first question we need ourselves is why. The lenses, I think we've got 3 lenses called why, how, and what. Why do I do what I do? Once I know that, I can be what I want to be. Then it will lead to how I do what I do, and obviously to what I eventually do. So there's a good relationship between all these things, and then we start making memories. And once you've got the memories, what's really, really nice is you select the memories which you want to use and take into the future. Now, if you're a designer, you've got your memories as to what worked for you. If you are working with other people, they come with memories. If you're a leader, you know, there's a bunch of memories coming together, and whatever memories we make creates energy, which is the battery on which this whole thing works. So there's positives and negatives, and you know, the more you choose the positive, the better your attitude's going to look, and all these things will come together. You're going to have a different view through your viewfinder, and you're going to see things completely differently. Essentially, leadership, and I think training or material creation, design, whatever the case may be, is about the light we cast. It's about influence, says John Maxwell. So how do I influence people to become passionate, you know, sort of about something that they want to learn about? That's what we essentially do. We cast light on information, and that becomes our brand. That says, you know, sort of that's the person who's passionate about that, and they build their own unique brand. And we assist other people in building a brand by accommodating. Now, leadership has brands. You know, you get servant leaders, you get sort of different brands in terms of different people. You might have people like Zuma or Cyril Ramaphosa or Nelson Mandela. So all these things summarized in the Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. You know, sort of, I got this idea, how to present. So I've shared with you the attitude to presenting. Now I'm going to share with you how to present. So there's a landscape, and usually the hero's journey starts with a point of departure. The reader has a dream, or the leader or the designer, and they want to make the dream come true. Now what often happens to our dreams is there's obstacles in the way. You need to take some kind of leap. You need to have some kind of departure. And the moment you depart, there's always this little voice inside you that says, no, you cannot go there. You should not do that. And so in essence, there's a guard, you know, sort of and you need to overcome that guard. You need to beat him, you know, sort of say, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to go out. Nancy Duarte talks about departure as a leap. You know, you have to take that leap. I have to decide what I want to do, and then there will be challenges or fights or battles, you know, sort of, and fighting the monsters is what heroes often do. As a designer, you often have to face those challenges of, what do I put in words, what do I put in text, what fonts do I use, what are these little things which come in, and all those challenges lead to that climb, to the turning point where eventually you're successful, and you know, sort of you fight that ultimate battle where things come together. And I'm going to share with you slightly what happened to me when I started working on a book, and you know, sort of that was a turning point, is where you look yourself in the eyes and say, this is the best. You know, or ask the question, is this really the best? And once you've done that, you've got the return journey where you go back, and once you've created something and you've thrown everything you have at it, I don't think you're ever the same anymore. You've lived that creation. You sort of have given birth like a mother, sort of, and no mother after having a child is the same again. And obviously you have to have a new departure. And that's where the S curve in business comes in, or in design, or in education, where you have to reinvent yourself. There's always the growth. And then there's, sort of, if the growth stops at some stage, you're going to be blocked. You're going to, sort of arrive and you need to do something. So when I look at what we've done with the book, it's, sort of, that's the content of the book. And it's, I give you all on the cover. To the left, you see someone arriving through a broken gate, and that same gate, when you return, will be the gate on the right-hand side, which is a whole gate. And it's all about that lens, that mindfulness. How do we consider? Do we still consider what we do when we present? Or are we not going out to be that considerate? So it's the kind of questions you need to ask yourself. And when we wrote the book, I had to consider, am I going to use words only? Am I going to use pictures? I had that challenge because ultimately some people said you cannot use pictures because pictures pause, words flow. And I don't know whether you ever considered that during design. You can't just throw in any pictures. A picture is there to mindfully pause someone, remind them about something specific. So here's the final spread of what we got in the book. Pictures pausing at the chapter headings. Pictures without pictures in them, just empty frames to make readers think, because readers have their own connectivity. And yes, eventually a book printed in color, which is going to be much more expensive than had I not done it.